Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.
Hello and welcome to Mercy TV, your source for news and information on the medical cannabis issue as it unfolds here in Oregon, across America, and even around the world. Greetings, my name is Perry, and along with Sunny and PK, we'll be hosting this segment of Mercy TV with our special guest, Reed.
Good evening.
And we're going to talk about many things here, especially leading into next year, and action items to do what we can for the OMA program. The Oregon Medical Marijuana Program has been, gosh, how would you describe it?
Mishandled.
Oh, well, it's now just out of the reach of the basic patient. And co-op gardens where you had a grower taking care of 4 patients or several growers taking care of, like a dozen patients are pretty much priced out of the market.
Well, and we always like to say hi to the people in the hospital, because the people in the hospital are the ones that can get the most benefit out of cannabis. Cannabis is good medicine. It's, there are so many different things that you can use cannabis for. You don't have to smoke it, you can eat it, you can use it topically, and when you talk to your doctor, you can find out that there are a lot of things that you can use cannabis for. And a lot of patients already know that,
Well, yeah, and it's a good point to bring that these folks in hospitals, in hospice care, in care facilities were hurt most by these changes to the law. Yeah, PK.
I would like to say thanks for the Parents for Pot. You can check out their website. They help out families in Oregon and nationwide. Is that true?
Yes, very good group. These are a lot of good places that you can go to, if you're looking for some place to go.
And we have a fresh issue of the OCC paper out. Check it out. Check their online site as well. And you could get back issues there. They have recipes so you can cook your own cannabis delights.
News, information, and especially where to get your copy of the OCC, Oregon Cannabis Connection.
Well, that's kind of like what we was talking about along with the food. You can get in the Oregon Cannabis Connection, there's some recipes.
Right, as we talked about the folks in, back to hospice, hospitals, home care facilities, using oils, teas, tinctures, and medibles, and using them safely and effectively, not obtrusive. They're not they're not bothering their neighbors, the people right next to them, much less in the next room. So only prohibition, keeps that from happening, and that's what we saw a healthy dose of this last legislative session. And why you should get your copy of the OCC, especially if you have someone in hospice care and facilities, and learn more about all the different ways that cannabis is medicine. I was working just the other day on our Canasol page and thinking again how we need to reach out and find alternatives to this medicine that was used primarily for glaucoma. It was an eye drop, and it was developed by a doctor in Jamaica and sold out of a company called Metagrace, which doesn't produce anymore. The doctor who made it passed on. There is no word yet on what has happened with his formula, if it got passed on, if it's something's going to happen with it. But the people shouldn't wait, and we should, if necessary, let's reinvent the wheel, folks. The alternative forms of medicating with cannabis, the ways to process it and do things with it. It's something that, is the next thing that they're going to take away with the legislation, the people's right to do that for themselves. So that's why folks should get on the bandwagon with the, making OMA what it should be and pushing back on prohibition and quit letting it call the shots.
Well, yes, because the medicine is good. When we know that the information that we have with the cannabis is good, then that is what is phenomenal.
It is medicine. It's safe, effective medicine. It's never killed anybody in its recorded history of usage, and there's no logical good reason why the prohibition still continues.
Well, and we have so many cases of people that have came to the different offices that have told us that have had, that case after case of the pills that they've quit, and they quit those pills, and they quit all of these pills, and they quit these pills and different cases.
Right, a number of cases. We had folks that were taking like a dozen different medications. They reduced it to like 3, just to throw this one case offhand. And the financial aspect of it, I was particularly struck by, going from like $1,000 a month to $100 a month. I was wondering why the insurance companies hadn't picked up on that aspect of it at least. But mostly it was the quality of life, having to reduce their pill usage, the whole strain and stress on you in that regimen of medicating with those pills, the side effects of it, and the quality of life, the not sleeping well, not eating well, so forth. And just phenomenal.
Well, that's the thing, once you find out that you can actually get some good rest and you can get to eat.
Break that cycle, that unhealthy cycle there,
So many people have said, I got to eat. I got to eat, and then after that, once they started eating, it was, I got to eat, and then I got to sleep, and
then go out and spend some time with family, in some cases even work, and
right.
produce and contribute to society.
Well, yes.
Okay. Hey, folks, it's the new year coming up. Make sure your registration is current. And when the voter pamphlet comes out, talk to your neighbors about what the issues that are happening. I guess go to the city council meetings if you can find the time. Hey, if you're not sure when you're voting, write your own name down on it. But vote. Or vote for the best that you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Any town hall meeting where you can have a chance to go and talk with your representative and find out their stance on medical cannabis. You can also, of course, email them, phone them, or go visit. I mean, PK's gone a number of times to chat with all the legislators, taking with him his copy of the OCC and camera on a few occasions to record committee meetings and so forth. And you can catch them when they're happening here also on Channel 23.
You probably could even backlog them somehow.
Well, we have a connection to our YouTube account where we've stashed them over the years, and you can certainly see last session's ones that we have up there.
Yeah.
Also, along with PK's My Garden and other Mercy TV episodes.
Reed, you had something to say you mentioned.
Yeah, I spoke with my doctor. Now, this is the gentleman that for 5 years has been signing my OMMP card because he saw over a 2-year period the difference between a psychiatric medication and cannabis. He found it so much different that he won't sign for anyone else, but he did sign for me. So, for 5 years, I've been little by little working him up and talking to him. And in the last couple of months, I've been pushing heavily on CBDs and cannabis and what they're doing for me in more ways than just working with my PTSD. And so the last time I spoke to him, he said, well, there's not enough evidence, there's not enough proper studies being done or have been done, and we need more evidence before I can do anything or further what I'm doing. And so this week I took him back a copy of a 2003 patent that the U.S. government, Department of Health and Human Services, took out on cannabis and CBDs in 2003 and presented that to him. And he looked at the first couple pages and then he looked at it and said, well, this doesn't show any evidence that research was done. And I said, well, such and so, such and so, such and so. Yes, it shows right here. Well, was it printed in a medical magazine? And it wasn't. Why? Because all of the 20-some patents that the government has made on cannabis and CBDs are classified. So of course they're not been printed. But as long as they're not printed in the Medical Association magazines, they don't count. In spite of the fact that the government has over 20 patents on cannabis and CBDs. And this is on the internet. This information is available for you all to find. This at this point is the only one that I have been able to actually download the patent catalog of, but I'm working on it. But I was very disappointed. If it wasn't printed in the manuals, it doesn't count. Even though the patents were taken out by the U.S. government, and I understand that the U.S. government is now selling those patents to the drug companies. That's what I have to say.
That's another thing. They're just greedy little corrupt people.
Well, the Department of Health and Human Services must have thought there was something to this that they were patenting. In 1999 was when the patent was applied for. They must have thought there was something to it, or they were preparing to make a profit.
Well, that's odd because there's bits and pieces publicized all over the place here. Merck Index on cannabinoids, Winholtz, Macomb as total synthesis, tetrahydrocannabinol, it's American Chemical Society. Again, Malcolm, chemical basis of hashish activity in Science, 1970. Ocular hypotension, ocular toxicity, and neurotoxicity in response to marijuana extract and cannabinol, General Pharmacy, Paragon Press Limited, 1984. What do you mean it's not published?
Right.
In a medical journal.
But he barely glanced at it, he looked through it and said, this isn't viable, basically. I'm paraphrasing.
Well,
I was very disappointed. I really respect this gentleman. He's been my primary care since like 1993. And he's taken good care of me, but he's not opening up to new research or the fact that there is research. I also point out that there's over 30 countries that are not including the United States that are doing excellent research, primarily Israel and Germany as the top two. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Israel has been because
for a long time,
for a long time with all their army.
And they are specifically
as far
prescribing
as
cannabis for PTSD.
Right. Yeah.
For their army.
But they.
I believe Dank's on the line.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Hey, how you doing?
Can you hear us, Dank?
I think I lost him.
Well, till he comes back. So, yeah, in the 60s in Israel, a doctor first started the study of the various components breaking down and getting the...
Hope he's there now.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good, man.
Good. Excellent there, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, you done all the Christmas shopping?
Oh, yeah.
Well, last minute, but yeah.
Yeah, you. Hey, I went to the Cannabis Cup.
All right. How was it?
Well, it was okay. It was also darn cold though. It was outside. It was actually in the greenhouses, and where the plants you were, with the planters, they put plywood over that, put sheets, put table covers over that, put chairs around it, and then they had a whole bunch of chairs. I mean, seating,
All right.
and a whole bunch of vendors there, and everybody's giving out samples, and the worst of it though is it's darn cold though. We didn't stick around too long. It was too darn cold. But anyway, it was a neat event and all, and Nathan and all the group down there were really cordial and let us in and check it all out, and I didn't even get my camera out of the bag.
You were too busy. Well, that's good.
Hey, and I don't know if you knew it or not yet, but I got my card. I finally got my own medical card, believe it or not.
All right.
But that's good.
You're a lucky patient there. A lot of them are having trouble these days with the changes in the law.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, my doctor, my specialist, assigned my favors, and I did it on a blood draw day. It didn't even cost me an office visit, and of course $20 for the card because I'm a veteran.
All right.
But I still stuck with that $200 grower fee because I'm growing out of town. Away
yeah,
from residents,
That's killed a lot of patients there, particularly as we mentioned before, the folks in hospice care and facility and home care. They can't have a garden at their site. They've got to have an off at site garden, another address, and
Yep.
to get dinged with this $200 it's just a killer.
Yeah.
They're limited income. They're barely getting by on what they've got. It's wrong. So yeah.
I went to the first meetings of the Oregon Cannabis Commission, and I've got hopes that they're going to help straighten out some of the problems. The ACMM to me has always been a paper tiger.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I'm thinking this might help. I don't know. We're trying to stay optimistic.
Right. Well, it can't be any worse, like you say.
Yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, then let's see. I think we did a last show and PK came down, and we won't be back until the 8th of January.
So you had a guest on from Colorado?
What's that?
They were saying you had a guest on from Colorado?
Yeah, that's Mark. He lives here now. He was with Occupy Colorado, and he also has done a lot of work with the Jury Nullification.
Oh, right. Okay, good.
And so he's been on the show. He's read a few books and come on the show and did some reviews for us. And yeah, he's a nice guy and very knowledgeable. It's been a help for me.
Well, that's an important thing. We should let folks know about FIJA and the Fully Informed Jury Association and their very important work in educating folks and their power to affect cannabis law reform at that level.
Exactly. Yes. It's one of the few weapons that we as a common person have, and it's getting to be less and less of them. But that's still an extra weapon.
Yeah, I've got a couple of cases posted on the Mercy website about stories in places like Kansas and Montana where juries have fully revolted against charges for folks of the little possession thing here and there, a sick person, and when the people are saying, what? It's just a marijuana charge? Why are we wasting money on this? When everybody starts erupting and so forth, and they said, well, okay, if we bother to put a jury, how many people are going to vote to acquit this person? A unanimous majority, like, okay, well, it's a very prohibition busting thing, and we hope that people find out about it, get informed, and exercise that power they have as citizens.
It's really important. And then, of course, the other one that I keep telling people is the state of Oregon felons can vote.
Amen. Yeah.
Yep.
Great
It's
to put that
amazing
out,
it's amazing how many people don't know that.
Yep,
I think
nope.
it's just the opposite.
Right. So good thing to get out there, especially with all the cannabis felons, if you will.
Oh yeah. After Measure 91 passed, I had people ask me, "What are you gonna do now? You won. It's all over. You won."
Ah.
And I say, "Well, it was a battle, but the war goes on."
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. That was just a beachhead. Now we got to fight our way and end prohibition. You know, there
Yeah.
shouldn't be these
Yeah, exactly.
horrible, these terrible fees for a person to be a patient to consume it as medicine. You know, it should. The fact is that the lies that cannabis is has no medical value and kills people are still the basis for the laws that we live under today, and it's wrong. So.
Oh yeah. Well, and then the state of Oregon has ripped off the patients ever since the program has been initiated in 1998.
Very true.
Yep.
Overcharging, keeping the money, becoming a cash
Yep, just
cow, and
racking
yet
them up.
ignoring the problems and trying and helping the patients.
Shaking them down and milking them dry. Yep.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
they're no better than the drug dealers they were supposedly replacing.
No, and then Measure 91 comes in, and so then they appoint a commission to implement legalization. Most of the people on the board are anti-marijuana. So, well, what could go wrong there?
Yeah, right. So that's why, again, as we say, register, vote, and get everybody you know to do so also. And we thank you, Dan, for your efforts to do that. I know you don't have old John Walsh there to lead the charge and rack up those numbers, but I'm sure you folks will get it done down there in Eugene.
You bet. Yeah, but I was thinking about, I've been thinking about John too. His birthday was not long ago.
Well, we think of him and Danbo and the other soldiers and that are paid the price and still paying the price, and we keep on going for them. I think, yeah.
Did you get that? Did you get the word that Danbo is coming? It's going to be going to have a recent hearing.
Yeah, I heard that. Saw an email to that effect, and it was very encouraging.
Yeah, it's very. I haven't heard anything more yet, but yeah.
So yeah, if you find out, let us know. Give us a call.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Drop us an
anyway,
email.
I gotta go. Hey, you guys have
Right
a great
on.
holiday, and
All right.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you very
Super.
much.
Thanks for calling in. Take
you
care.
bet. Thank you. Good talking to you guys. Talk to you later.
All right.
Thank you,
Okay,
buddy.
bye.
Happy New Year.
Good soldier, keeping up the good fight, man. He's been at it a long time and still fighting on, and doing those things like the voter registration drives and doing the letters to the editor, organizing trips to go see the legislators,
Yep.
and Hempfest. We should not fail to mention the Eugene Emerald Empire Hempfest. Dan organizes something, whether it's an action item to lament the fact he's not able to have it or actually having it.
Right.
Every year he does the Eugene Cannabis TV. So see eugenecannabis.tv and see more episodes happening there. One of our sister organizations and efforts for many years, we went down and did the Eugene TV show before we did the Mercy TV. Did them in conjunction and so forth. They're very team networking there.
Well, and that's the way we get all the information around,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the
Education.
education, the information. That's how we're doing it.
Organization and action. So when it comes time that we need to pepper our representatives with phone calls and emails and visits and write letters to the editor and demonstrate and rally, stand on street corners waving signs, if nothing else. Talk about the bills that are happening, like the Hinchy-Rohrabacher amendments coming up for renewal. It's a federal bill where we limit the DOJ to spend money busting our chops, particularly medical, sick and dying people. And other things, 2018's coming up, and it's time to get rid of the jerk representatives here in Oregon, for starters, who voted in this changes to the Oregon medical marijuana program, and reverse that nonsense and save, Oregon lives and money.
Very true.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Just one last thing on these patents. One, to me, 20 patents by the U.S. government says that they believe that it does work, that cannabis does work for the good. But this information that I have, this particular patent, I Googled. This is available on Google. It's available in Wikipedia. The cannabis patents that the U.S. government has taken out are available if you look for them. Now, I've also got, as much as I can gather, on my webpage, or on my Facebook page, Reed Smith.
All right. So check it out, pick up the info, and by all means, spread the word, Get that out there. The more people educated, the more people will hopefully register, vote, and get everybody they know to do so also. But get some good people up there, test out the ones that are there. And as PK was saying, when you can't find a good representative, represent yourself. People need to run for office when necessary. And they're finding great success in doing so. So step up.
And
speak
when you
out.
talk to your friends and you all don't agree to the person, choose one of you. So at least you have several people voting for the same person.
At least have the conversation.
Absolutely,
Bring up
yes.
the conversation, talk about it, and you cannot agree on it, but at least have the conversation,
Right.
talk about it, and at least let's discuss it and talk about it, and we can discuss. You know what? Cannabis is good medicine.
It's safe, effective medicine.
We don't. You don't have to like it, but it's good medicine.
And the processes to make it,
And you can
are
be
safe
educated.
too,
You can be educated about it.
And no side effects.
right?
Yeah.
If you were the one having to be the patient and having to, we have to go. And you know what?
That's true.
You know what? Come back next Friday.
Absolutely.
Thank you to.
Happy holidays, folks.
Yes, Merry
That's
Christmas.
what's happening.
Merry Christmas to everyone, to all your friends and family.
Right.
And thank you to
CCTV.
CCTV.
Yes.
Our gang in the control room.
Agent
camera folks.
420.
And Charles, Lewis, the whole
Everybody,
gang, the gals at the front there, and thanks for showing up. Spread the word. We'll see you next time on Mercy TV.
Thank you. You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes. Good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.